Good afternoon, Tim Ostendorf, Baritone and innkeeper, usually with all things Sutherland, but I found I got my mojo back, and I've been doing quite a few videos, and it's not Sutherland today. Instead, it's going to be, oh, drop my glasses. Instead, it's going to be Agnes Baltsa, because I was doing my comparisons of Come Scoglio, and I have this great CD of her doing quite a lot of those Zwischenfach things, although most mezzos do not do Come Scoglio, do not do Fiordiligi, but she does Maria Stuarda, she does Lady Macbeth, and she does Berlioz's Les Troyens. And so, like Lady Macbeth in particular, I've heard various, I think Krista Ludwig, Shirley Verrett, who of course was a go back and forth person anyway, as far as soprano and mezzo soprano. And so anyway, it fairly common for a mezzo soprano to do Lady Macbeth, even though it has a very famous or infamous high D flat, I think it is, towards the end of the sleepwalking scene. And as far as Sutherland goes, it obviously was not in her repertoire, although I think it would have been interesting. Definitely not a voice you would have thought to do that, but when I listen to things like her Oda Bella or her, what is it, Louisa Miller, what's the aria from there, especially those one-offs where she didn't have time to flatten everything out and get it to be just pretty, and when she does just a one-time thing on a recital, or a CD recital, that it is very exciting. She doesn't have time to work out and smooth it out and make it pretty, if that makes sense. And so, I don't know, it might have been interesting, and it have a bit of a softer sound to Lady Macbeth, even though she's a badass, but was she a badass because of her circumstances? I think that anyway, might have been an interesting take on it to have her at least sung the arias at some point. But anyway, neither here nor there, right? So instead, we have Agnes Baltsa, and when I played the Come Scoglio, I was reminded of what an exciting voice, and I've always loved her voice. I find it so thrilling. And so here she is with the famous sleepwalking scene, which I absolutely love. I think my favorite recording of it is Sylvia Sass, or Sash, or I forgot how to spell. Sass is how it is. Hungarian, right? Hungarian soprano, Sylvia Sass. And that's one of my favorite recordings of that particular scene. And so here we have Agnes Baltsa. I fast forwarded. It's kind of nice because they play the entire introduction, but the entire introduction is 3 minutes and 17 seconds. So we're going to get right into the aria itself, her sleepwalking scene. It's a little slower than I like, but it kind of adds to the sleepwalking, dreamy quality of her crazy madness. Oh, I love that sound. That release, did you hear that little sigh? I'm getting like goosebumps. And just so you know, I am listening to this for the first time in probably, I would say, at least 10 years. So you're getting my raw, visceral reaction. I'm getting a little choked up. I why don't I listen to her more often? Just uh, something about that sound and the emotion. It's just it's. I mean, it's an intent. It's intense musically anyway. But this might bypass my Sylvia Sass, which I have to drag out and listen to and maybe do a follow up video on that as well. Of course, that's that part in the Shakespeare where she's saying, the all the perfumes of Arabia cannot get out these stains on my hands, the blood that is on her hands. Um, uh, um, well, figuratively, well, and sort of literally, depending on how you think about it. Oh, I love the orchestra. That pulse. Can you imagine hearing that for the first time back in the day when it was first written? Because it was probably so unusual, and it's definitely not your typical aria. And that orchestration and that big long intro that I didn't play, and just so darn thrilling. And I know that there are especially some mezzos who do it who omit the high D flat. I don't know that it just wouldn't work for me. But obviously, a lot of them have done it. And but once you hear it with the D, you gotta have the D flat, and it's supposed to be. Is it written in the score? It's famously it says like fi de voce, something like Fildivoce. Is it fil? Do you pronounce it fil de voce? Anyway, whatever it is, it's supposed to be like just a thread, thin thread of sound. So it's not supposed to be this big, beautiful, huge high D flat. It's just this little supposed to be thread of sound, and it's not supposed to be all that pretty, I guess. But I don't have the score because it's outside of. See, this is me doing a whole video outside of my normal comfort zone of coloratura stuff or stuff that I'm familiar with, and I really don't know Macbeth all that much except for that aria, and mostly through that Sylvia Sass recording that I'd mentioned. And but I forgot about me and my Agnes Baltsa love, because that's pretty spectacular. And just her look is just so crazy. I just love that. Like she's Greek and proud with the crazy hair and the dark eyeliner. It's just like done in 1980s, recorded in 86, 87, something like that. It's like it's so 80s. Isn't it? That could be like a start of a music video. Linda Ronstadt or something. I don't know. But anyway, there's something a little different for you, a little Agnes Baltsa. But I'll be back another time to do some more stuff. Hopefully more Joan Sutherland and Adita Gruberova, my two favorites, and maybe something a little bit more in my comfort zone. But that was kind of fun to do that, and especially since I hadn't listened to it in so long. So like I said, you got the raw emotion just from me listening to it after probably, I would say, at least 10 years. And so anyway, Tim Ostendorf, Baritone and Innkeeper at the Inn at Crystal Lake. In at crystallake.com. Check it out. Come and visit us. We're in Eaton, New Hampshire, just 2 hours north of Boston. That's right. All right, signing off. See you later. Oh, do you like the new shirt too? I used to always be a big fan of Paisley. I got to get me some more Paisley. Right? All right, bye-bye.